All right. Lots of more news on this coronavirus. Unfortunately, it's not good news. Uh, Italy has a major problem. Well, everybody's got a major problem, but the biggest one outside of China now is Italy. Well, Japan, but they're kind of considered, I guess, around that area. But Italy is pretty far away from China, and yeah, they got a super spreading event or something, or this thing just it's tricky to catch. It is. It's not tricky to catch it, but it's tricky to catch it on, I guess, in a health case scenario where we can track these cases down. But people are spreading this without showing any symptoms. You can be feeling just fine, no problems at all, and be completely contagious. So we don't. Oh wow, it's crazy, right? And it's only going to keep getting worse. Nearly all of Italy's 132 known cases are clustered in the north. So these are like, it's a small village. So, either one or two people that flew from there, or so authorities expressed frustration they haven't been able to track down the source of the virus spread in the north. Yeah, they don't know who's spreading it, right? And actually, well, now lots of people are, but the initial patient zero would be who you'd want to. Oh yeah, right down here. Officials haven't been yet able to pinpoint patient zero. Yeah, that's not good. All right. Israel. There's rockets being fired from Gaza Strip, and this is February 23rd. Rocket sirens were reported in southern Israel on Sunday night. They were fired. Yeah, some 20 rockets were reported fired from the Gaza Strip. Yeah, it's not because they're losing it over there, right? There's people dying. Like, Israel's got a big problem too, and Iran is, yeah. Let's just take a look here. What's going on in Ukraine? This is in the Ukraine, and it's getting bad real quick, and it's only a matter of time before one of these clusters pop up in a city near you, and that's the fact.
Tonight, the global fear of COVID-19 as cases around the world continue to grow. Anger boiling over in Ukraine as evacuees from China touch down for quarantine. Protesters there clashing with police after a false rumour a handful were infected with the new coronavirus. And tonight, a sombre reality check from the World Health Organization. Although the number of cases outside China is still small, time to stop the spread of the virus may be running out.
The window of opportunity is narrowing, so we need to act quickly before it closes completely.
Closed down. In South Korea, a woman spread the virus to nearly 40 people at her church and beyond, with numbers there growing. The CDC tonight assuring Americans the virus isn't spreading in the US right now, but warning it could.
It's very possible, even likely, that it may eventually happen. You may be hearing about schools shutting down and businesses closing in countries in Asia to reduce the potential spread of this virus. The day may come when we will need to implement such measures in the U.S. communities.
Tonight in Japan, the last few hundred passengers and crew now expected to leave the stricken Diamond Princess, with growing questions about how the quarantine was carried out on board.
And Ian joins us now from that.
Yeah, so they're clashing like mad, right? Now, Cyaxin has another study here. This is the third study. Another study claims Wuhan's seafood market may not be the source of the outbreak. And a lot of people are saying this. because 17 people, including patient 0, or the first person to get this, apparently, that they tracked, had no connection to the seafood market at all. There's a lot of mysteries surrounding that, right? A lot. This here's just another video from Global News. It was the same thing with the police crash and the protesters. Same kind of thing, right? Coronavirus Sunday update. Iran reports 8 deaths now. 8 deaths, and they only got like 40 cases. What the hell is going on there? Like, that death rate is way higher than anywhere else. Like, and actually, I think Italy's got 5 deaths now, or 6 deaths. And they got 130 cases, and they got 5 or 6 deaths. Like, and the doctor who went to visit, the first initial patient in Italy, he went and did a house call to this person who was infected, and later found, so they're probably assuming the doctor's infected, and he infected other people by going and checking on them and doing his doctor stuff, right? So it's spread viciously there in this small community in Italy. And Iran, I don't know what's going on there. It's exploding there as well. Israel's ambassador to China under quarantine in Beijing after sharing flight with South Koreans infected with COVID-19. Yeah, so there's been some cases too lately. I don't know what the hell. Some people flew, South Koreans flew to Israel, came back infected with no contact. I don't know. Yeah, Israel's ambassador to China last week shared a flight from Tel Aviv to Seoul with a group of South Koreans later to be found infected with the coronavirus. It has been like going off. We don't see it happening so quickly in the numbers. We think of this and say, that's not very much. But the numbers are climbing. And these are the cases that we're catching. Canada's got 9 now. It's only a matter of time before one of these little cells pops up somewhere close to us, right? And in the United States, they're putting up court orders. They're filing court orders against whoever's in charge of doing the quarantines, because they're taking people who are infected and using buildings that aren't being occupied right now, but they're not meant for quarantining infected people, and they want to move them to these small towns and these places, and people are saying no, and they put up a big fuss over it. But the judge has temporarily allowed them to time, I guess. They're not going to be transferred right away to these small cities or these small towns. And one of the places they want to quarantine these people, and I think it's Alabama. Alabama's one of them. Oh, and no, it's a Casamia, California. This place here, it's in a residential area. There's schools and there's fucking shops and there's a park nearby, and they just want to house a bunch of coronavirus patients in this building that's not even, it's not meant to house infectious people. And you can see why the city would be upset, and you can see where this is heading. They can't even figure out where they're putting quarantine people, right? Where are they going to put them? What happens when this thing breaks out to a couple thousand people? It's not going to take long. It really won't. I'm just saying. It's a sneaky thing. It really is. We can't detect this. It creeps up like the flu. Right? And not everybody's going to be running to the hospital to get checked for the flu. And even if you did go to the hospital, if you have no known contacts with China, then they're not going to test you for this, because they're already testing people at maximum capacity right now. So we're under the blanket here, like out of the veil, or under the veil, I guess, and what we're not seeing behind the scenes is our lab capacity, and our doctors and our everybody are working at capacity right now. And if we get a big outbreak somewhere, that's not good. That's going to stress the system. And as much as they say that we're prepared for this, nobody is prepared for this. You can't be prepared for something like this. This is, it's like you can take precautions. It's the same thing as a hurricane coming, right? You can take precautions as best as you can, but you don't know how bad it's going to hit until it hits, right? We don't know how this is, but we can see what's going on in the rest of the world. And there's some startling images coming out of China. Like, they've always been coming out of China for a while. Won't go into it right this time, but I am going to do another broadcast specifically for some of these images, and it is graphic stuff, and it's good to watch it, actually, because it gives us a sight as to what they're actually experiencing. We have the privilege of looking through a screen at what's going on, right? Some people at this moment in time still have the privilege of just glancing at this through the computer screen or your cell phone. But it's happening. It's real for them over there, and it's real for everybody. Nobody deserves this. Nobody. This isn't something that anybody deserves. And a lot of innocent people just are going to unfortunately become casualties of this, and we still have no idea what the understanding is, which is even making this whole situation even more dark. And because we really don't have any information from the highest of officials. Everybody's still saying they don't know what this is. They've had their best teams on this, and you can guarantee for probably about 3 months now. They know about this before. Of course they did. Of course they did. And just like everything else, they're trying to stop it and just slow it and keep the economy turning, keep everything rolling. But this virus is going to say, hey, fuck your economy and fuck your statistics. I don't care about your data or your borders or your names. That's what basically it comes down to. Unless we do something drastic to stop this, and globally as a community, as a humanity together, this will not stop spreading. And the ones who can, take the, I don't know what it's going to be a different situation for everyone as an action plan, right? Everybody, you can't blanket everybody with the same response plan. Everybody's in a different situation. Everybody has different things happening, right? So it's just to raise awareness, and because it doesn't look very good. It never looked very good. I was following this right from day one, and I knew there was something up. I took precautions right from that day. Once I knew there was something really off about this, and if I was wrong, well, I'm wrong. You know what I mean? At least I'll suffer that consequence of being wrong. I can handle that. But being ill-prepared for something that possibly could turn out to be an actual disaster, and it actually is turning out to be an actual disaster. Almost every country in the world has cases of this confirmed. And if there is confirmed cases, you can guarantee there's other cases that they haven't caught. They're not catching all the cases. They couldn't. It'd be impossible. It really would. You couldn't do it. You wouldn't know who. You just couldn't. And I'm sorry, it's a logistical nightmare to try and track these people down. Yes, they can track down immediate contacts and maybe secondary contacts, but after that, it becomes too exponential of people who they may have common contact with. Just touching a doorknob somewhere could have left enough residue for somebody, to touch it next and rub their face, scratch their eyes, whatever. Right? And this thing seems to be very infectious. It's ripping through Italy like a wildfire. Like this is actually something that is beyond anything for contagion that we've ever experienced. Like this is some kind of, obviously, something heavier than what we're being told, right? It has to be. And I knew that as soon as they shut down the first city in China. They shut down Wuhan of 11 million people. And I thought to myself, I said, what the hell is going on here? You know, like, is this some kind of, whatever, I don't know, whatever the Chinese government was doing? I thought, I really did. I thought, no, it's not a virus. It's, they're doing something. Chinese government's just fucking with their people or something, right? But then as the days grew on, the quarantines just kept rolling out, city after city after city, province after province after province in China. And the numbers were pretty low, considering the actions being taken. The videos were rolling out of there, and for, like, you could tell that they had a viral situation on their hands after a while, and this wasn't any kind of a joke or whatever we might have thought it was. Or, I was skeptical on both sides, and you gotta be. You can't just stick on one side of the fence. You gotta question everything. It's unbelievable what's happening. And it's real. It really is. And as much as the media is not really talking about this a whole lot, that is so nobody panics. Where's the World Health Organization? It's been 2 days since they did an update. We're supposed to be getting updates every 2 days. The last time they showed up on Friday, Mike looked like, or not Mike. Mike wasn't even there. I don't know where Mike's been. Like he's kind of like the head of the coordination team. He's the only fellow that's been really telling it straight. But I think Mike is having it pretty rough right now because he lost a friend due to this virus. One of the specialists who went over there in the first mission into Wuhan, and he got he caught this, and he was a pneumonia specialist. The Lancet wrote an article on him, actually, because he wore he wore everything he thought he could wear for what he thought he was going into, but he got infected through the eyes. His eyes got red, and just before his onset pneumonia, he complained about redness of the eyes, and it's in the Lancet, and it's a medical journal. It's called "Infection Through the Ocular Surface," and just Google it. He got infected around the 19th or 20th when they first went into the hospital when just before they closed the city down, and that was the last time anybody's been in that city until 2 days ago, I think. 2 days ago, there was another team that just landed and got boots on the ground in there. I guess apparently at Ground Zero, or that's what they're saying. But we haven't been in there since that day. We went to Beijing. We had a specialist team go to Beijing and do some, I guess, one-on-one contacts. But nobody's actually been to the epicenter until just a few days ago. So it's a lot of mystery shrouding this, and China has been covering up beyond excusable reasons, and it doesn't jive, right? They're trying to get their economy going, trying to get people back to work. They were showing the world, hey, we're going back to work, we're doing this, and they're making it look like we're going back to work because. It's more important to keep the economy going, but at the same time, they got everybody quarantined. They want everybody to go back to work, but they want everybody to stay in their house. So, what's going on, right? And then they're giving the strangest updates on the news. I'm not lying to you when I say their safety measures for people going back to work included stopping the buses every 2 hours and putting the windows down and airing the buses out, and people sitting not so close together, public transit systems, and what was the other one? Oh yeah, taxi drivers had to stop and air out their vehicles every hour. Or no, they actually had to drive with their windows down. What did they call it? Natural ventilation. That's what they called it. That was their, was their safety measures on public transit things. Yeah, with the windows down. So, this had never happened, right? But this is what they were saying for safety guidelines. And nobody, Monday came along and nobody went back to work. Very few people showed up. Very few. The ones who did, well, diehards or, you know what I mean, were forced to or something, right? So, it didn't work out. And it's only creating a wave across the globe right now on a financial situation as well. We have stock markets just plummeting everywhere. Apple has effectively lost over $100 billion in 1 week. They have completely stopped all production of iPhones. So if you're looking for an iPhone in the future, that you might have short supply. Also, Samsung has shut down shop there. Their new phone, the Samsung Z or flip phone, whatever is coming out, they won't be having their release party for that when they thought. So that's not going to be happening. It's big, right? And another one that pulled out of there was Boeing, Uber. Like these are multi like billion-dollar companies, right? And they've already pulled out weeks ago. But Apple just really reported a loss. And Walmart's going to be doing the same, because Walmart gets almost all their stuff out of China. They really do. I'm not kidding. And Amazon. Did you try ordering anything on Amazon lately? You might want to try doing that. Just pick like 3 or 4 items and see if it's available in your cart, if you can buy it. Just go randomly pick 3 items that you might think be out of China. Which is almost anything on Amazon. So yeah, supplies are low, right? It says, this product is not available due to supply shortages or It's tough right now everywhere, and it's only probably going to get worse. This is the new study. And it's from the Chinese Institute of Research in Beijing, China. And the author corresponding email. And Center for Integrative Conservation. Topical Botanical Garden. Chinese Academy of Sciences. Yeah, that's a mouthful. I haven't read this yet. And it's kind of lengthy. It's it's not really lengthy, but it's gonna take some thought to actually understand, not just read it. So yeah, I don't know, but let's just go see what the conclusions are, just for fun. Contributions, paleogenic approaches, insight epidemiology. Yeah, this paper basically states that it could not have started in the seafood market as well. So we got 3 papers pointing to the fact that this did not and like these are real papers. We have 3 pointing to the fact that this does not seem like it's natural, or that it came from the seafood market as everybody thought. But we have no papers confirming anything that it could have. It's and they're talking about the evolutionary relationships. And that means what they're talking about is that this didn't evolve to gain this type of viral properties, let's say, or abilities to infect us how it is. Because it is using our ACE2 receptors, and that has been confirmed. Scientifically, it's been confirmed this week, 100%. It's definitely using the ACE2 receptors. And why does that matter? Well, that's a lot of science. I got a couple of videos on that. Good luck finding them. Because I just stream everything as blah, blah, blah. I'm not a streamer. I'm not. But I just want to try and get information out to people. And I'm trying to do the back end of all the technology side of things to like stream this and get it up and running and out there and try to balance all the news and the science and everything coming in and regurgitate it to people best I can. Regional worldwide circulation and spread. Yeah, I'm just teasing you. I'll do another video with that broken down. But wow, holy shivvy. And I don't know what's going on with Iran. Like, they got, what was it? How many? 43 cases, and they got 8 deaths already. That's like a 20% death rate. That's way bigger than 2% like we're seeing out of China. I don't know if this is if it's a mutated strain of this. It could be a mutated strain. There could be multiple different strains going around. Let's just say it did get out of the laboratory somehow. Well, what's to say only one virus got out? What if they had some kind of issue and, multiple viruses got out? It would make almost a little bit of sense. Because we're having, like, different, on the... I don't know. Unless this thing is just behaving or, mutating in such a fast way and actually creating mutations efficiently. We don't know, right? Like, it could be... There's so many questions. We just don't know. But what we can see is that, she's going south real quick around the world. This is all going down because those are infected people on those buses. And the people are trying to stop them from putting a quarantine camp in their city or their town. Right? They're taking a bunch of infected people into their town. And people are like, fuck that. Nobody's coming here, but they're, I'm sorry, they're going there. I can't see how long these people would actually live. Like, obviously the whole city and townspeople are fucking raged about this, so, they're not going to be safe wherever they are, in there. Of course not. They'll burn them out or something, right? These people are fucking furious. And of course anybody would be. You know what I mean? Coming to a fucking city near you. Sorry about the language, but it's real. This is how it started in China. This is as real as it's gonna get, ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls, and brothers and sisters, and all you out there. It really is as real as it's gonna get. And I mean, probably on the level of, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say the biggest event humanity has probably ever faced. Except global warming, of course. Oh shit. What do we do? What do we do? Well, for one, you just gotta be able to ride the wave, I guess. I don't know if I'll be able to do it. Who knows if anybody will be able to do it? It's easy to talk, but until fucking shit rolls down in your neighborhood or your city, you know, you're gonna, it's gonna be a different story. Right? We can all pretend that we know what we're gonna do when this time happens. But when it actually happens, you know, it's not just ourselves. Because, you know, everybody around us most likely are gonna be panicking. If we can stay, if the people who are staying chill, you know what I mean, that can be hazardous as well. Because if everybody else around you is panicking, that obviously creates a safety issue, right? Of course it does. People do weird shit when they panic. Oh yeah. It's fuck, right? And everybody thought like, no, it's not anything. And I kind of thought that for a while too. I was like, well, no, I didn't think that it wasn't anything because, you know, shutting down a city of 11 million people isn't an easy feat. You know, and then it just rolled out from there. It was just city after city after city, and I said, what the fuck? Why would they do that? And then everything I still question. Of course, I have to, but I still question if it's, you know, some kind of goddamn joke. But it's not. I really don't think it is anymore. It's not that it ever was a joke because, you know, who would commit economical suicide? Like it's not like things could just start up overnight if this thing just magically disappeared. It would take months for things to get back together. It would. And all that time, businesses, companies, people losing money. So you wouldn't do that unless, like, this was some shit show level event happening. And it sure seems like it. And nobody's still believing it. Because it's like, wow. Is this really fucking happening? Like, really? It's not another SARS? It's not another MERS? You know? Like, what is it? And that's the answers that we don't have, officially. Except that it's a virus and we can't stop it, and we're not doing really anything to stop it other than just watching each place get locked down one by one by one by one. And that's how they're doing it. Because that's probably the best way to do it. If you're thinking about this on a global scale and this thing's creeping across the world, you're not going to tell everybody to go, into quarantine, because that's going to create panic. We don't want to panic people. Why would you ever want to tell people the truth so that they could get a heads up? Why would you ever want to tell people that? Well, they're weighing the possibility or whatever their excuse is for not telling people what's actually, potentially ripping, across everywhere as we speak. I don't know what their excuse is. It's probably to avoid panic in my mind. Or they're, this is being swayed at the highest levels to just, well, let's just wait a little longer for economic purposes or trade purposes, because, the numbers are, it's only 135 in Japan, only 132 in Italy. That's not too bad. Geez, that's, those numbers are pretty low. Well, geez, we only got 35 in the United States, and, Canada's, we only got 9. UK's got 9. UK's in a state of emergency. Philippines is in a state of emergency. They only got 3. And Australia, wow. Taiwan, 28. Oh my goodness. And you can't catch it. after it's like, we don't know who's got this and who could be spreading it right now. And all of a sudden, it would take, a few dozen people to get really sick, or even just one person to get really sick somewhere and go get tested and test positive for it. And then they, just do the backtracking. Oh, well, they're positive. And his immediate friends are positive. Well, we got an outbreak, shut it down. That's exactly how it's going to happen, and they will roll. Trust me, they are ready. They've been mobilizing military outlets. You probably haven't seen it, but they're mobilizing, and they're ready to quarantine if need be, all over the states, all over Canada. They really are. And is it going to come to that? Well, it sure seems like it. It's just might take another couple of weeks, might take another couple of days. Like the U.S. is, I don't know what the hell, man. Like, their numbers should be a lot higher, really, seriously, because there was a lot of people that flew from the U.S. to these places, or flew from these places to the U.S. There really was. I was looking at the charts, the flight charts, when all this was first happening, because they didn't stop the flights. I was like, what the fuck? They were only taking people's temperatures. And at that time, even I knew that the temperature checks wouldn't work. Oh. And if I knew that, like, what the hell? Are they just going to let us burn? Is that it? Maybe this thing is just so far spread that it's actually just fucking fucked everything. And it made the powers that be just say, fuck it, we'll bring them all down with us. And just, postponed everything they're making. Like, this thing's a shit show on every level. The World Health Organization, everything. It's just a complete chaos. It's a disaster on an information level as well, and on an action level. So, did this spoil the big fucking plan of, like, the top elite? And, maybe some of these people are actually infected because they go traveling. Oh, you bet they go traveling. And maybe there's some very high people who are just, maybe have died. And, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, who knows, right? You don't think there's global elites that call the shots on a global level? Goddamn right there is. And maybe, maybe, just maybe, they just want to take the rest of us down with them. Is that too far stretched? Well, yeah. It's a story. It's a thought. Oh, here is the Lancet one on the member of transmission through the ocular surface. Must not be ignored. And this is, I think, why we're not seeing Mike around, because this guy actually died now. But on January 22nd, when we first went in there to Ground Zero, and the last time we've been in there, and since, we haven't been in there since until just a couple of days ago, member of the National Expert Panel on Pneumonia reported that he was infected with the Wuhan coronavirus. He wore his mask, but did not wear anything to protect his eyes. Several days before the onset pneumonia, he complained of redness of the eyes. Unprotected exposure infected him. And do you know why it infected him through his eyes and not through... Because this thing is ridiculously infectious. I mean it. Nature doesn't make things this infectious. And you know what happened on the cruise ship? We all know what happened on the cruise ship. It went south real quick. Everybody got infected. The people doing door to doors got infected. All the fucking staff got infected. All the people delivering the food got infected. Not all of them, but pretty well all of them. And they shut shop down, and they told US to come get their citizens right now, or they're on their own, because they got bigger problems to deal with. And there was people that were given the option to stay as well, but like you're yeah, and I think some people stayed behind. Oh, this was done on the 29th of January. For the president of China ordered the military to go in to Wuhan, and actually wherever now at this point, and take over, right? And just shut shop down, and that's what they did. And they did it really violently, very, very violently. And they made a point of being violent, because what did that do? Of course, it sent a message to everyone else watching. They're scared for their life to go outside right now. Even if they could go to the hospital, they just want to die at home anyway. Because if they go to the hospital, they're just going to be put in a quarantine camp with a bunch of other sick people. Right? Nobody's coming outside. Everybody's staying inside. And this plasma donation here, because they're trying this new method to fight this, but there's nothing that we got. There's nothing. There really isn't. So don't think that there's even a hope in hell right at this point. We haven't, no. They said probably up to 2 years. A year with good, with everything going right, maybe we get it in a year. They said maybe around 2 years, but I don't think we even have around 2 months. I really don't think the globe has 2 months right now. It ripped through China in less than 2 or 3 months. That whole place, everywhere. So it's only valid to assume we can take the same characteristics from China. And how it happened there. But we don't know if this thing is mutating. Like, we don't know what's going on in Iran. I really don't. They got like 40 cases or something, and they got 8 deaths. And Italy's got, I think, 100 and some cases, and they got 6 deaths. And those are way higher numbers than oh my. And this thing doesn't just affect old people. I mean, everybody's affected by this. You really are. It doesn't matter. Because you know why they called it a novel coronavirus when they first named it? Well, novel means new. But they said novel because it kind of is a little bit of wordplay. Doesn't make people think too much. People they're like, what the hell, novel, coronavirus, yeah, cool. Coronavirus. But it means new coronavirus. New. And the reason why they don't call it new coronavirus and they called it novel is because when you say something is new, well, people don't generally like new scary things. Right? So they got to name it in such a way that's not going to make people think. And yes, they are doing that at this level, I promise you. It's a psychological warfare game right now. Tell me it's not. Prove it to me. Prove it to me. But it takes that at this level to keep the public calm. That's their number one focus right now. Keep everybody calm until, well, it rolls into a neighborhood near you. And that's basically how it is. But it's only going to be suppressed so long. Not suppressed. Actually, it's boiling over at the seams everywhere. I've been watching it since day one, and I've known how this thing's progressed and followed almost every news story that's came out of anywhere. And this thing is some scary stuff. Because it's not only scary as a virus, it's scary in the sense that we don't know what it is or to what extent this is actually going to go. That's an unknown. That is an unknown. We don't know how far this will stretch. We don't know how deadly it is. They're saying this can have I'm not going to say it, an incubation time of up to 27 days. There is I never found the study yet, but there is an actual study on it. It was I've seen it on a couple of news broadcasts already. But that is just one study, of course, and it's not peer reviewed, and it's just based on one person who was, I guess, in the hospital and had tested positive for this, or I don't know, but anyway, I guess he had tested positive, but didn't show any symptoms for 27 days. He never got sick. Like, he was actually infected, and they knew he was, but he never got sick until 27 days after. Huh? That's real, as far as I know. And I would not doubt that. Because they said that it, the incubation time at first was 1 to 8 days. And then it went from like 8 to 10 and a half days or something stupid. And then it went to 14 days. And then another study came out and said it could be up to 24 days, I think. And it was brought up at one of their meetings. They, one of the reporters questioned about that study, and the World Health Organization just said, well, we were taking everything into consideration at this time, and we don't think there's a need to increase the quarantine time any longer than 14 days, giving our current data, blah, 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 blah. But we are monitoring the situation, of course, that's their fucking go-to. And they are, of course, they are. But we're still not getting information out of there. And I don't think we will. I really don't think we will. Because what are they going to say? Oh, okay, well, it was made in a lab. Actually, it was, so. And then everybody just shits the bed. Oh my God! Run! Where are you going to run to? I know a lot of people would panic, right? And they just make stupid mistakes while they're panicking. So they don't want to do that. They don't want to cause any big problems. But the people who understand it. The science is there. And the science proves, there's 3 papers now. First there was one and it was ripped off the internet like as fast as it came up. Because it was posted online Twitter account from an Indian journalist from India, where the first diagnosis of this came out of. It came from 2 universities in India. This Indian reporter had some kind of connection to the university. He's a media guy. He's a book writer. He's an educated person. Anyways, he got a hold of this paper from the scientists that did the study, and he just thought he was going to post it on his Twitter page. And it fucking went like wildfire. And then they made him take it down, and everybody discredited it and said it was bullshit and it was fucking lies, and because everybody was starting to panic. Everybody was going, oh my God, it's a goddamn. So they had to stop that, right? They shut it down, but no other paper came out yet disproving that. Nothing. Only 2 more papers came out so far proving that. So we got 3 papers confirming that this is not something that happened naturally. Like, it didn't gain these abilities naturally, because it is a goddamn Trojan horse to our system. Like, if you're thinking about a computer virus or something, this is the most sneakiest, stealthiest, infectious virus that you could ever have. Really. It's just that simple. Because it has these properties that allow it to communicate with our cells in a way that, like, is very suspicious. Because it's targeting a specific area, and it goes undetected. It can actually go undetected. And that's why a lot of people are getting like showing negative tests. Even the doctor. There's actually multiple sources of this that, you can test for this, even though you for sure have it, you're still being negative. So this can actually hide from our bodies. It can hide from our testing methods. It is some scary banana shit. I said split. Scary banana split. Shh. Nobody's cursing here yet. And that's not gonna help. I curse a lot. That's how I do it. But you know, I kind of, it's a form of expression, and I find it's just so expressive. Yeah. Coronavirus live updates. Yeah, and the cruise ship. Where do we even start on that cruise ship? God. What a joke. What a disaster that was. Let's go check some. Let's go check some real. Let's go check some real news. What? 3 deaths. Oh shit, that's Italy. Oh, I forgot. This works like that. I just found out something new today. Unless they just incorporated this kind of function. So Italy's got 3 deaths and 1 recovered. Italy's got more than 3 deaths. Yeah, they do. They got like 5 now. That's not accurate. Let's roll this up. According to the newspapers, anyway. Like, we're going to hear it from the media before it shows up on this thing, most likely. Yeah, 3 cases. Only 1 death in Japan. 22 recovered. Singapore, nope. Hong Kong's got 2 deaths. Iran's got 8. What the hell is going on in Iran? 43 cases and 8 dead. Thailand, nope. US, nope. Taiwan, it's got 1. Australia, nope. Malaysia, nope. Wow, it's France has got 1 death from it. Yeah, but what the hell is going on to Princess Diamond cruise ship? Another person from the Princess Diamond cruise ship has died, so there's 3 there now. South Korea's got 6 deaths. Like, South Korea's doing a really good job of reporting, and I don't know what the hell's going on Iran. Could be a mutation. If it's a mutation, that could be some. That could be something. We don't know. We just don't know. There's so many questions, right? But we know the action's being taken, and we know the world is like on a hair trigger right now on a political stage. Like, this thing could easily spark a fucking world war. Easily. Like, I mean, at the fucking drop of a fucking hairpin. I don't know what a hairpin is. Something that you drop on the floor. And it's, you know, happens very fast. So, I guess that's my point, right? And it's true. It really is. Like, they fucking shooting rockets over in Gaza. Like, they can't really do a whole lot there. They don't really got intercontinental fucking, you know, they can maybe shoot province to province. But they're limited probably to about, I don't know, probably about 3,000 kilometers. Which still, you know, it's not reassuring. Because there's other people who have literally could shoot their missiles and fucking wrap them around the world twice before they fucking land somewhere. Yeah. It's a big thing, right? I am actually going to leave this here. Going to get into some streaming again later. I'm always putting news out and just talking about it. I know I'm not engaging my audience as well as I should. I just noticed there's a bunch of chat people. Yeah, I'm not a streamer. I just want to get the word out and at least try to, like, you know, stress the importance of this situation. And, you know, again, everybody's going to do their own thing, right? Everybody's in a different situation. You can't tell any one person how to prepare because everybody has to do this differently. And with that being said, be safe, my friends. I appreciate you watching, and I hope that you're taking you know, some steps to protect you and your loved ones. Take care. We'll see you very soon, I'm sure.